Hello, my dear listeners. My name is Kishore Ganesh, and in this episode of the Vocal About Visuals podcast, I'll be reviewing Balaji K. Kumar's Kolai, starring Vijay Antony, Ritika Singh, Meenakshi Chaudhary, and others. Can I just say that it has been a really good period for murder mysteries in Tamil cinema? Almost every month, a reasonable, decent, solid, or even passable mystery seems to land on the big screen, and as a mystery fan, I'm here for it. Adding to the list of these murder mysteries is Vijay Antony's Kolai, aka Murder, that is written and directed by Balaji K. Kumar. Right off the bat, one thing is clear: Balaji Kumar has a very distinct stylized way of composing his shots. Here, he has composed his shots, and yes, I'm compelled to use the word composed because of how they look, in very imaginative and artistic ways. A lot of green screen has been used to bring out visuals that would be right at home in a gothic music video or a fairy tale or even on a canvas. Balaji basically doesn't just like to show you that two people are in love. He wants to show two clouds that are in the shape of the two people's faces, with the clouds going on to intermingle. He wants to show dark alleyways that are straight out of 1970s New York City, and wants you to go along with the idea that no, this is indeed Chennai. Speaking of Chennai, this tale takes place in a universe where the police force is called Madras Police Force. I can't quite recall whether it is service or force. Apologies on that. If you know the right answer, please leave it in the comment section on YouTube or tweet it at me. Yes, coming back to the police department, it is called Madras Police Force, not Tamil Nadu, not even Chennai. So maybe Balaji wants you to believe that this is not the universe you or I inhabit. This is essentially Balaji's universe, an alternative to this one. And to the credit of the producers, the production values of the film are quite good, which enable the director's vision to come to life. Even if the CG may be found out in a lot of shots, it is not really bothersome because the story is what we're focusing on, and also because the CG is passable. Coming to the performances, I think the best performances are from Meenakshi Chaudhary and Ritika Singh. They in fact do a lot of the heavy lifting from a performance standpoint. The genres of his films carefully chosen so as to afford him this space where the limitations in terms of the performance are not the thing that you are focusing on. That said, yours truly is a bona fide Vijay Antony fan, not because of the Pichai series, but because of his work ethic. Vijay Antony is more of a technician, a behind the screen craftsman than an actor, and the fact that he has built himself to this level in his career is absolutely inspiring. Mind you, because of the aforementioned Vijay Antony space that he inhabits, none of his movies that I've watched are ever quote unquote bad. They're all decent to very good. And now comes the time to answer where Kolai lands in the spectrum. Before that, let me wrap up my thoughts on the performances. Ritika Singh, like Antony, has had a very interesting career, jumping from being a boxer to an actor. And as an actor, she's kind of an indie darling, and I say that very loosely, of course. What I mean to say is that she doesn't appear in any quote unquote commercial films. She always chooses scripts where she has significant room to perform, and this is the case yet again in Kolai. She is one of the leads and she effortlessly pulls off being a cop. In fact, it is the writing that lets her down. Moving on to Meenakshi Chaudhary, I really liked her in Hit 2. She had arresting screen presence and excellent chemistry with the hero of that film, and in this film, she steals the show. She has a lot of space to show off her range. Instead, the film goes on to set up the case using both a narration and a police investigation to give us the details, but doesn't address the fundamental flaw here. It is too easy to identify the killer. On top of that, the motive of the killer, which in a movie that has a minimum of one psychological and or philosophical idea per sequence, is not backed by any science or psychology. In fact, it is downright confusing as to why the culprit does what they do at all. The reveal happens yet again with a lot of metaphorical visuals straight out of a goth music video, but there is not even a BS scientific reason thrown in. And then there are the holes in the mystery itself. The main clue that differentiates the culprit from the suspects, the entire story surrounding it, is confusing, and worse, it is incomplete. I have deliberately made this line vague so as to not spoil it for you folks. The stories and backstories of the many characters that pop up in this film are not followed up by the leads, nor are they tied up at the end. And finally comes the time for me to answer the question I mentioned quite a while back. Where does Kolai fall in the spectrum of Vijay Antony films that range from decent to very good? And the answer to this is sadly, Kolai is possibly Vijay Antony's first bad murder mystery, even if it may not be his first bad film. Its shots are very impressive, but the writing is lacking. In any mystery, the logic should be airtight. It is paramount. Production values, metaphors are all cool, but the core objective should be to surprise the audience, if not confound them. If one does not surprise them completely, it could well at least happen in patches if the mystery structure is spot on, even if the mystery itself is simple and straightforward. Kolai, however, comes across as a style over substance piece, which is quite unfortunate because I really did like the style. I strongly feel that if the director Balaji collaborated with a few other writers in addition to himself, then maybe he could have come up with a much more polished mystery. Once again, my name is Kishore Ganesh. This is the Vocal About Visuals podcast, and thank you, my dear listeners, for your time and for listening. Please do give this podcast a follow on your preferred podcast platforms and on YouTube. I'll be leaving the link tree with all relevant links to this podcast in my show notes. Please do like, subscribe, review, etc. Everything that applies that you can do through those links. And if you want to directly support the podcast through a tip, the tip jar is available in the link tree as well. Thank you.